Have you ever met someone who seems endlessly generous on the outside, always offering help, lending things without hesitation, or trying to be the good example in every situation, only to realize later that something about their kindness felt off? Maybe you started to feel strangely indebted to them. Maybe you noticed they kept reminding you of the times they helped you, or acted as though you owed them something. It's an uncomfortable feeling, but a surprisingly common one. This raises an important question. Is it possible that some people appear generous, but deep down are actually selfish in subtle ways? Their giving is not truly unconditional. It comes with hidden expectations, silent demands, and a quiet desire to control or gain something in return. These aren't cruel or abusive people. Often, they don't even realize what they're doing, but the effect on others can still be heavy and confusing. In this video, we'll carefully explore this quiet but real pattern of behavior. You'll learn the 5 most common signs of someone who wears generosity as a mask, but secretly holds self-interest at heart. The goal is not to accuse or judge, but to recognize these signs clearly so you can protect your peace, set healthy boundaries, and avoid being quietly manipulated without even knowing it. 2. Definition and nature. At first glance, a person who is generous, helpful, and always willing to give seems like the ideal friend, colleague, or family member. These people seem to be everywhere. They offer their time, their belongings, and even their emotional support without being asked. They are quick to say yes to favors. They appear selfless, and they often go out of their way to be seen as kind and dependable. On the surface, this seems like genuine generosity, something we are taught to appreciate and value in others. But beneath this polished surface, there can sometimes be something else at play, a quiet selfishness hidden behind good deeds. This pattern is not the same as open cruelty or obvious selfishness. We are not talking about people who openly demand things from you, who are rude, or who mistreat others without shame. In fact, the opposite is true. These individuals are often polite, charming, and eager to please. But if you look closer, you may realize that their giving behavior comes with invisible strings attached. They offer help not because they expect nothing in return, but because deep down they want something back. Whether that is loyalty, gratitude, control, or quiet power, the intention behind the kindness is not as pure as it first appears. At its core, this behavior is rarely born from malice. In fact, many of these people may not even be fully aware of what they are doing. The true root of this pattern often lies in insecurity. People who behave this way frequently struggle with low self-confidence. They fear being unimportant, overlooked, or forgotten. In order to feel valuable, they give to others, but they expect that giving to earn them a permanent place of importance in your life. Their offers of help are rarely free gifts. They are quiet investments meant to ensure that you will one day repay them, not always with money, but with attention, dependence, or obedience. A simple way to picture this type of person is to imagine someone who loves to lend things, not because they enjoy generosity, but because they want you to remember the favor forever. They want you to feel a quiet sense of debt, the kind of debt that can never truly be paid off. They may never directly ask for repayment, but they keep mental records of every small kindness they've shown you. And over time, you may feel guilty when you cannot return every favor, or worse, trapped by the sense that you owe them your time, your energy, or your attention. It is important to remember that these people are not evil. They are not villains hiding in plain sight. More often, they are individuals who have never learned to feel confident in their worth unless they are needed by others. Their fear of being unimportant drives them to create relationships where they are always the helper, the giver, the savior, because they believe this is the only way to matter. Unfortunately, this leads to a quiet form of manipulation that can leave others feeling exhausted, confused, or even used without ever fully understanding why. Recognizing this pattern is not about blaming or hating these people. It is about understanding that not all generosity is pure. Some giving is done to meet the giver's own emotional needs rather than yours. When you can see this clearly, you can begin to protect your boundaries gently but firmly, allowing yourself to receive help without being tied to hidden expectations, and offering thanks without becoming quietly indebted. In the end, the true definition of outward generosity, inner selfishness, is this: giving that looks free but is secretly costly, a gift that seems light but comes with invisible weight. And once you can name this for what it is, you can choose to step out of this quiet trap and build relationships based on honesty, respect, and true freedom. 3. 5 signs of recognition. 1. Give but repeat. One clear sign of someone who seems generous on the outside but is secretly selfish inside is that they often remind you of the things they've done for you. At first, it may sound casual or even caring. Remember when I helped you last time? Or I lent you that thing the other day. Don't forget. But slowly, you start to feel like you owe them something, even if you never agreed to any deal. Their help isn't truly free. When they give, they expect something in return, maybe your attention, your favor, or your help later on. This creates pressure. You may feel uncomfortable saying no to them, even when you really want to. The truth is, many of these people don't even realize what they're doing. Deep down, they may lack confidence or feel afraid of being forgotten or ignored. By reminding you of what they gave, they try to stay important in your life. But over time, this kind of relationship can become exhausting. Every time they offer help, you don't feel happy or grateful. You feel nervous about when they'll bring it up again. Things become unbalanced. A truly generous person gives without expecting anything back. They help because they want to, and they let it go afterward. So if you notice someone who keeps reminding you of their favors, be careful. They might be using kindness as a quiet way to control you. It's gentle but very real. 2. Help to control other people's choices. Another common sign of people who seem generous but have selfish motives is when they help you just to control your choices later. Their support often comes with invisible strings. For example, they may lend you money, but then expect you to ask for their opinion every time you want to make a big purchase. Or they do you a favor and later act like they have the right to guide your decisions. At first, it may feel like they care or want the best for you. But over time, you realize their help is not truly free. You start feeling watched or guilty for making choices without their approval. Their kindness slowly turns into quiet control. Often, these people don't even realize they are doing this. Deep down, they may feel insecure and want to stay important in your life. So they offer help, but expect to influence your future actions in return. True generosity respects your independence. It does not demand control after giving. When help becomes a way to manage others, it is not kindness, it is quiet manipulation. Being aware of this pattern will help you protect your freedom and make your own choices with confidence. 3. Martyr syndrome. Another quiet sign of a person who looks generous on the outside but may have selfish intentions inside is when they often say things like, "I always think about everyone else." At first, this sounds kind and thoughtful, but if you listen carefully, it can make you feel like you owe them something in return. This type of person may remind others of how much they do for everyone, making people feel guilty if they don't give back in some way. It's as if their kindness is not a free gift, but a silent debt you now carry. You might feel pressure to do something for them later, even when you don't want to, just to balance the scale. The truth is, real kindness doesn't create a sense of duty or guilt. When someone truly helps from the heart, they don't expect repayment or recognition. But when a person always talks about how selfless they are, it can slowly turn into emotional pressure. Recognizing this pattern is important. You don't have to feel trapped or guilty just because someone says they think about everyone. Healthy relationships are based on freedom, not silent debts. 4. Help to show off or get compliments. Another common sign of someone who appears generous on the outside but may have hidden selfish motives is when they quickly tell others about the help they've given. You might hear them say something like, "I had to rush out in the middle of the night to help her," or "I gave him so much support last week." These comments often come not long after they've done the favor, almost as if the story must be shared as proof of their kindness. At first, it may seem harmless, just sharing life events. But over time, you may realize that the real purpose is not to help, but to build a certain image. These people want to be seen as caring, selfless, and generous in the eyes of others. The act of helping is less about you and more about how it makes them look. True generosity doesn't need an audience. When help is given with pure intentions, there's no need to announce it or seek praise. If someone always talks about their good deeds, it's worth asking whether they helped because they cared or because they wanted to be admired. Being aware of this difference can protect you from feeling used or manipulated. 5. Help when it's beneficial. A quiet sign of hidden selfishness is when someone shows kindness only when there are people watching. In public, they are the first to offer help, donate to a cause, or do something good, always making sure others notice. Their actions seem generous on the outside, but something feels off. For example, they might share photos of their charity work or talk often about the good things they've done, as if to remind everyone how thoughtful they are. True generosity stays the same no matter who is watching. When someone only acts kind in public but shows no care in private moments, it suggests that their real reason for helping is to build a good reputation, not to truly support others. Being aware of this can help you see people more clearly and avoid being misled by appearances. Getting involved with someone who appears generous on the outside but is selfish deep down can slowly distort the relationship in ways that are hard to see at first. On the surface, they seem helpful, thoughtful, and supportive, but over time, you may begin to feel a strange weight that wasn't there before. It's like becoming an invisible debtor without ever signing up for a loan. Their help quietly turns into something you owe them, creating an unspoken sense of obligation that can be hard to break free from. You might start feeling guilty for saying no or setting healthy boundaries. Even small decisions can become difficult because you wonder, will they get upset if I don't return the favor? This quiet guilt can stay in the background of your mind, making you feel like you are forever in their debt. Every time you make a choice, whether it's spending money, time, or attention, you may feel you need their approval, even if they never say it out loud. It is as if their expectations are always standing behind you, watching and waiting. Another serious consequence is the loss of personal freedom. These people help not because they truly care, but because they want to control your decisions. For example, after lending you money or giving you advice, they may expect to have a say in how you use that money or what choices you make next. It feels less like help and more like being tied to their conditions, whether spoken or unspoken. Bit by bit, your ability to decide things for yourself shrinks as their influence silently grows. In the end, this kind of relationship often leaves you tired, confused, and doubting your own judgment. What looked like kindness at first turns into a quiet form of control. To protect your well-being, it's important to notice these patterns early. Real generosity does not come with strings attached. It allows you to feel free, not trapped. Being aware of this difference is the key to staying clear of hidden manipulation. 6. How to deal with and maintain boundaries. Here's an important thing to remember. Truly generous people don't make you feel indebted. But the nice on the outside, selfish on the inside type often leaves you feeling confused, guilty if you don't reciprocate, and even ungrateful when you want to leave them. So, how to deal with it? How to maintain boundaries without losing yourself. Learn to say no, thank you, from the start. One of the hardest lessons to learn is learning to say no to manipulative kindness. Sometimes an offer to help may seem sincere, but if you sense an underlying obligation, stop. Don't rush into accepting it. Practice saying, no, thank you. I can handle it myself. When you say no early, you owe nothing. When you accept without being clear, you're tied to an invisible debt. Don't owe a hidden favor. Be clear when you accept help. If you are forced to accept help, be clear from the beginning. Thank you, but I will pay you back soon. Or, I appreciate it, but I hope no one owes you anything in the future. How you set the boundaries at the beginning will shape how they treat you later. People who help you out of the goodness of their heart will understand and respect that. But people who help you out of a desire to control you, they will be upset. And their reaction is the answer you need. Determine, who are they helping for? For you or for themselves? Observe, after helping, do they keep repeating themselves? Do they boast about their efforts? Do they expect anything in return, loyalty, or obedience from you? If someone helps you and then starts using that favor to control you, to manipulate you emotionally, then that help is not coming from love, but from their ego, and you need to step back as soon as possible. Keeping boundaries isn't selfish. It's a way to protect your mental health. When you learn to set limits with fake nice people, you're also opening up space in your life for more honest, healthy, and gentle relationships. 7. Conclusion. A gentle and profound reminder. True generosity does not need to be repeated, does not need to be grateful. Generosity is not about how much you have given, but whether you have set the other person free after receiving. No need to torment. No need to force people to remember a debt forever. No need to use love as a chain. A truly generous person understands that a good deed does not need to be framed to be displayed forever, and should not be turned into a weapon to bargain in relationships. Because if your giving is accompanied by expectations, accompanied by conditions, accompanied by hurt feelings if not reciprocated, then it is no longer giving, but a sophisticated transaction between two egos. And at this moment, I invite you to stop for a moment. Honestly look inside. Ask yourself quietly, have I ever given someone something that I secretly hoped they would remember? Have I ever felt upset if someone didn't respond to my help the way I expected? Have I unconsciously used kindness as a way of controlling? Have I ever unintentionally become the person I condemn today? It's okay. Everyone has internal conflicts. No one is born with the ability to love well. But the best thing is, we can always relearn how to live, relearn how to give. Kindness doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be genuine. And if you're wondering, so, how can I be generous in the right way without becoming a selfish, nice person? How can I give while still maintaining freedom for the recipient and for myself? Then I invite you to watch the next video. How to be generous in the right way without becoming secretly selfish. Together we will peel back each layer from very small habits to better understand the nature of kindness and relearn how to give in a pure, gentle, and uncompromising way. See you in the next video. And if today you realize something new in your heart, keep it as a small gift for yourself.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.